is the Hyundai i30N like you've never seen it before. That's because this is the new Fastback version. It takes everything we knew about the i30N and reshells it into a more sedan-like and bigger package. As a result, it is more fastbacky than the regular hatchback, and it also apparently appeals to more mature and more premium buyers. Hyundai calls it a 5-door coupe, which is what a lot of the luxury brands label their similar style models. And that's no coincidence, because Hyundai has told us that they consider this maybe a bit of a budget rival to the likes of the Mercedes CLA and Audi S3. And the name? It's the Hyundai i30 Fastback N, not the i30N Fastback, which seems weird to me. The name is one thing, but the look? Well, let's check out the design. I'm really keen to hear what you think of the styling of this car. I'm not completely convinced. I think that the swooped roofline is actually a little bit hunched at the back. Maybe doesn't look as good as it could. But tell us what you think in the comments section below. And of course, the most important thing about this car is the boot. Let's take a look. So in the boot, you have 450 litres of cargo space, which is 55 litres more than the hatchback. So if you've got kids, this is your best bet in the i30N world, unless they decide to bring out a wagon. Geez, I hope they decide to bring out a wagon. While the exterior is markedly different to the hatch, the interior is almost identical. Well, except for the backseat section. I can't say I've ever sat in a 5-door coupe and found the headroom to be brilliant, and the same is the case for the i30 Fastback. It is a bit tight back here. I'm 6 foot tall, sitting behind my own position. Headroom could be better, both at the back of my head and also along the side here when you're getting in and out. Legroom's okay. This seat is set in my position. I've got enough knee room and enough toe room to be comfortable for a while, but if I was any taller than 6 foot, I reckon I'd be a little bit cramped back here. There are the requisite child seat anchor points, ISOFIX and top tether, and there's storage as well in the form of a fold down armrest with cup holders, and you also get mesh nets to store stuff and door pockets. It's not too bad back here, but maybe could be a little bit more spacious. I don't want to get too bogged down on the interior stuff, but here are the important things you need to know. It doesn't feel as special as maybe some people might want it to, and that's even despite Hyundai's efforts to make it a bit more mature and a bit more luxurious in the Fastback model. There's red stitching instead of blue, which apparently makes it more mature, but I don't know, could be more special in here. But it's practical and thoughtful. There is good storage throughout the cabin. There's an easy and quick media system that doesn't take much time to get used to, and it has the connectivity you need. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, plus sat-nav, and you get the N screen, which allows you to play with all the fun stuff. Let's get to it. Let's talk about what hasn't changed. There's still a 2-litre 4-cylinder turbo engine with 206 kilowatts and 378 newton meters on overboost. It still all goes through the front wheels, and it's still only a 6-speed manual. There will be a dual clutch coming at the end of 2019, and we can't wait, because that will probably be a better fit for the character of this particular i30N model. But still with a manual, still lots of fun. And it's still super fast. 0 to 100 is 6.1 seconds, and it feels every bit that quick. The steering is still really, really fast, and although Hyundai has made a bit of a deal that the suspension is a little bit softer at the front end of the i30 Fastback N, I can't really tell that much of a difference. There are still multiple drive modes for you to choose from, including N mode, which turns everything up to 11. And you can customize N mode as well. So you can have the softest suspension, but the noisiest exhaust like we have right now. Although the softest suspension could still be softer, I found on the country road loop that they took us on today that it was still pretty firm, especially rebounding after a bump, and it wasn't very comfortable for a 4-hour stint. Also, there was way too much road noise for my liking, although you can't really tell that right now because I'm on a very, very smooth and beautiful piece of road. Because it's a hot hatch, it has to corner well, and I will say that the steering rack in this i30N is super quick, and it's only 2 turns lock to lock, which means it's very direct, but the turning circle is quite big, so around town you might notice that it takes a little bit more effort than it should to do a U-turn. That said, this is a performance car, and on a racetrack is where it excites most. As for fuel use, today we saw about 9 litres per 100 Ks, and that was across a range of different driving, including some pretty spirited driving, I might say. So I was pretty impressed with that because it claims about 8 litres per 100, so not bad. I mentioned before about road noise on coarse chip roads, and we're on one right now. It's a highway. Like the majority of Australian highways, it is very, very rough under the tyres, and there's plenty of tyre noise intrusion into the cabin. This doesn't feel very luxurious or premium if that's what Hyundai was aiming for. A bit more noise deadening would make a huge difference to the experience in here. And also, bad news, when you are on a coarse chip road like this, you can't hear the exhaust. So put it into the N mode and sure, you can hear it a little bit better, but on a super smooth surface, that's where you get the best out of the exhaust note. So on coarse chip roads, like I mentioned, it is really noisy. A lot of performance hatchbacks and performance sedans will be noisy on this sort of road, and these roads are all over Australia. So you've got to put up with it, and that's just the facts. But I would say that a Volkswagen Golf R or a GTI would be a little bit more amenable to high-speed, long-distance highway driving than this car. That doesn't mean that they're more comfortable or more enjoyable in those situations, it just means that they're a bit quieter and a bit more of a premium experience. And we're talking premium money for this car. With the luxury pack, nearly 47 grand, it's a lot of coin for a Hyundai. Owning an i30 Fastback N should be a pretty pleasant experience. There's a 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty, which includes cover for track racing, provided you're not racing competitively. There's also lifetime cap price servicing and up to 10 years of roadside assist. And while it's presumably safe to own, it's also got most of the safety stuff you'd expect. There's auto emergency braking that works up to 75 k's an hour, lane keep assist, stability control, and 7 airbags. But you don't get pedestrian detection or cyclist detection or high-speed AEB or adaptive cruise control. The i30 Fastback N won't appeal to everyone, but it will appeal to some buyers who want something different to the regular hatchback. But I think that this car hasn't fulfilled its potential just yet. I reckon that day will come when Hyundai finally adds a dual clutch automatic transmission to this car, and I can't wait for that day.